Hello there, Orthopreneurs, and welcome to the first ever Orthopreneurs Summit webinar. So what I want to give you today is a behind the scenes look at a lot of the things related to the summit that you may not know about, but are definitely something you want to know about. Now, first of all, you may have heard through the grapevine that this is going to be the final summit ever. And I'm here to confirm the fact that it is going to be the last Orthopreneurs Summit. Why? I'll get into that later on. But for now, I just want to cover some of the things related to content, because this is the first ever summit that's going to have clinical in it, in addition to the managerial, the leadership, and the entrepreneurial that we usually bring to you. And that's a big deal, because I've gone out and found some of the top speakers in the world to cover both clinical and managerial. And so I promise you, this is going to be an experience unlike any other summit ever. And if we're going to go out, we're going to go out on top. I originally started Summit because of an experience that I went through myself. Now, back in the day, there was a really, really good meeting here in Dallas that I went to. And at the end of the day, after some great education, this group of doctors went to this bar, and this group of doctors went to that bar. And me, not really knowing anybody, went home. And I said to myself at that point, after such great educational content, nobody should ever be left alone. They should be allowed to be around their peers to sort of digest it all together, if you will, right? You just saw some great stuff. Let's talk about it. Hey, wasn't that amazing? What did you think about that? How are you going to implement that? And that's where the real good learning really happens. So I came up with the idea of Orthopreneurs Summit to where you could get some amazing business lectures, and now clinical, of course, and at the same time, be able to be brought together where you don't have to worry about dinner plans. You don't have to worry about drinks. You don't have to worry about anything. All entertainment is going to be taken care of by me. So all those sorts of things, we've had nothing but fun, but we've mixed it with high level education. And to me, that's really what makes it unlike any other meeting. This is a meeting that's going to help you make more money, lower your stress, live a better life, and give you a boatload of CE at the same time. And so who is this for? Yes. What that means is you could be in residency, and I guarantee you, you will take stuff away from this meeting that will make you a better associate, a better practice owner. You could be in startup phase, and this is a perfect meeting to sit down with a bunch of orthodontists and ask them questions related to what you're doing and how to fast track. You could be in the middle of your career. I don't care who you are. You do not have the same amount of knowledge in your head as the collective knowledge of the group of people who are going to be there. And the best part about Summit, what I really like the best about it, someone next to you who just says hi and you have a great time with them. And it's not till later when you're talking that you find out they have a $15 million practice. Learn a little something, help a little something. And when you go back to your practice, you're going to be so fulfilled emotionally, spiritually, and physically. We'll get into the physical a little bit later. So right now, let's touch upon the speakers who are going to be at Summit, because I've personally selected every one of them. So if you look at the list of people we have speaking this year, you know, if you're a baseball fan, I remember the 1927 Yankees, one of the best teams ever. They were called Murderers Row because they had so many great hitters. This is the proverbial Murderers Row of orthodontics. Tom Pitts, Ron Ronconi, John Graham, Dan Bill, Stu Frost, Masmo Shiri, Megan LeCornu, Brian Lockhart, and so many more. And we'll get into the tracks we're going to do as well. If you want to grow your practice, you want to lower your stress, one of the fastest ways to do it is to get on a plane and go to someone's office. Bring a notebook and your iPhone or your Android, photograph, video, and write down what's going on. Learn how they're running their practice, and I guarantee you, you will see some amazing things. But you won't have to do that here, because every one of these people is going to open up the curtain and let you see into their practice. They're going to show you how their practice operates. So it's not just going to be clinical, but you're going to get the cultural. You're going to understand the HR side of things. You're going to get to see how Tom Pitts or Stu Frost or Ron Ronconi run their practice. So in addition to these incredible speakers, we do have two headliners, two people who, again, I personally selected because I love them so much. One is Tony Horton. Now, if you know who Tony Horton is, he's one of the fitness gurus who's been around literally 3 decades. You don't have to be a fitness guru to enjoy it. The stuff he's going to talk about is going to really help you live a better life. And that's one of my goals. I want you to live your best life. And that's, again, another reason why I think this meeting is different than most. And so Tony he's going to be there. I think he's even going to run a morning workout. The second one, you may recall, Amanda Gore. I first saw Amanda Gore speak probably 15 to 20 years ago at a big meeting I was at. where she engaged literally every person in the room, and it was 1,000 people. And I still use what I like to call my Amanda-isms, the things that she said at that meeting that I still remember like they were told to me yesterday about how to live a better life, how to have a better perspective, how to reduce our stress. She's going to have actionable tips for you to reduce your stress on a day-to-day basis and to work with your team in a way that everybody just benefits. So again, Tony and Amanda couldn't have two better people to do this meeting from a keynote perspective. One of the things that's going to make this meeting different than any other Orthopreneurs meeting is that I had a brainstorming session where I was thinking about what are the things that orthodontists really, really want. What were some of the things that I see repeatedly that orthodontists are asking about? So I said, let's do a track in the afternoon, and we're going to have 8 tracks, 4 on the first day, 4 on the second day, that relate specifically to things that I know for a fact orthodontists want to get more of. This first one is the $5 million practice roadmap. And as the name would imply, I've got people in there who are going to help you better understand if you want to get that $5 million practice or that $4 million practice or that $3 million practice or wherever you want to be, you're going to get some great tips on how to get there from people who know exactly how to get you there. So Jan Kalika, amazing businessman. His story is great. Jeff Sudit, he is one of the biggest entrepreneurs in orthodontics today. And Brianna McMillan is going to just help you better understand some tools that are going to help you understand to get where you want to get. So the next track I want to talk about is a bit of an oxymoron for many of you, right? When I talk about stress-free HR, just hearing HR is enough for your blood pressure to go up, particularly in today's environment where hiring and retaining good help is difficult. We've got 3 people here who are true experts to help show you ways to manage, keep, train, retain the best possible team you can have. So, marketing mastery. This is one of those places where you're definitely going to want to have some team members in this group. You may be at the $5 million practice, or you may be at one of the other ones, but marketing mastery is going to be really speaking to you and your team about how to grow your practice. Right now, we have 2 names confirmed. I'm really trying to put somebody in that third spot who just hits another home run for you. Because Jill Allen, I personally used when I was starting my practice, and she helped me better understand all the areas that I need to market and how to do that and how to manage it to be more effective. And I'll tell you to this day, what Jill taught me, I still use a lot of it. Juan De La Torre, he's a man who needs no introduction. This guy is an expert on all things marketing, including AI for marketing. So this is where we're going to talk about ways to grow your patient base even more. When you do something in-house, it's your system and you're managing that system. And there's work and there's energy and there's effort, but life gets in the way. Someone needs maternity leave. Someone has a day off. Someone gets sick. There's vacations. There's holidays, whatever it might be. When you outsource, you're dealing with a professional. So when you outsource any technology or any service in your practice, the professional doesn't call you and say, we're taking a sick day. The professional corporation doesn't call you and say, oh, we've had some drama issues on our team and so decided to leave. No, it's like flipping a switch on that's always on. So people hear me talk about things like remote monitoring or finances with OrthoFi or all these other things that are out there that you can automate with. And they think about it from a dollar and cents perspective. I want you to think about it from a service perspective, because not only you're not managing another policy and system, but things are being done for you. So it's out of sight, out of mind. And that's what this track is all about. These are 3 people, but the 3 people in this lineup who are going to come together are going to blow your mind, possibly unlike anybody else in this meeting. So anybody followed my journey in life over the last 2 years knows I've made some really significant changes in my health. Now, I was always pretty healthy, but I really dialed in my diet. I really dialed in my fitness. And with the help of chemicals, which I love to refer to, I've added things into my life that are scientifically proven to help me live a longer, healthier, happier life, both physically and neurocognitively. And where did I get this information? Well, Dr. Jeff Galvin is my own personal physician, but he really understands the science behind longevity and wellness. He's going to show you real science behind men and women about how you can live a longer, healthier, happier life, no matter where you are. You could feel like you're so far off track with your health and fitness, but one little step in the right direction sometimes is enough to change everything for you. And Raya Pachin is amazing. I've had her on the podcast. This is about taking you from wherever you are right now to wherever that light is at the end of the tunnel, hopefully many, many years from now, and giving you some tips and tricks to begin your journey to live your best life from now until then, not just for you, but for those around you who count on you as well. We have some things that seem like they might conflict, right? Because we're going to have the 45% overhead track and the $5 million practice. And you would think those two conflict. I don't want to just go to one of them, right? I want to learn how to make more money and how to save more of that money specifically. Well, the good news is these are on 2 different days. So you'll be able to go to the $5 million practice and you'll be able to go on the 45% overhead tracks on 2 different days if that's what you want to do. And the people I brought into this all have track records of having sub 45% overhead practices. Bryce McMurphy, Kyle Fagla, Ben Fishbein. Again, I'm throwing out names to you folks that if you live on social media, you know who these people are. If you don't, let me be the first to tell you that Bryce McMurphy, Kyle Fagla, and Ben Fishbein, if you were lucky enough to sit at a table with these 3 guys for an hour or 2 and talk about the overhead in their practice, the stuff you're going to get would be amazing. Well, you don't have to worry about that because you're going to do it with them on stage. And you're going to get to do it in the evening at the social events. Because if your practice is $2 million a year and you're able to get your overhead down 5% on 1/20th of 2 million is $100,000. I'm giving you reason after reason why you need to be at this meeting, and being that it's the last, you got to be there, okay? So what's the goal of making all this money if you don't know where to put it? And I brought in a few people who are going to give you some insight to the financial world in very different ways. Some are going to show you a little bit about the banking side of it, so you better understand what goes on in the banking world and how you make more money by spending more money sometimes or by saving money, because there's some unique ways that the banking sector can do that for you. So again, this is a great place where you and your spouse can tag team and they can sit in here and you go elsewhere. Probably not a great track for a team member, which is why you can have them in the other spots that are so important for your practice. Anybody who knows me knows that I've traveled the world for 23 years, teaching on as many continents as I can, the concept of case acceptance. We're going to talk in this track about how we can try to achieve a 90% case acceptance rate. You work so hard, spending so much money, bringing in a ton of patients into your practice. You don't want that money to go to waste. You put your TC in this room, your ROI on the meeting should be 20, 40, 50, 100-fold. So I've talked a lot about the things you're going to learn and the courses and the content and why Orthopreneurs was started. But if you go back to the very, very beginning, and if you listen to our podcast I did with Mike Vidikin, our director, it's a great story of how we started this all together, but he's been there by my side since the time I asked him, I think we should have a meeting. What do you think? And so let me bring Mike on here as I step back and allow him to go a little bit detail about some of the truly remarkable things we have planned for you, because I told you earlier, this is the final summit ever. We're going to go out with a bang. And when you see the things we have planned for you socially, and they're so good that if you were to tell your friends who know anything about Vegas that you're going to either of the places he's going to talk about in the evenings, they're going to ask you how they can get a ticket to come to this meeting. All right. So Mike, I'm going to let you take over and tell them a little bit about some of the insanity that's in both of our brains and for evening events.
Yeah, thank you, Glenn. Look, I'm really excited about what we have planned for Orthopreneur Summit 2025. You just heard about all the amazing speakers and all of the great content that you're going to be learning to make your practice better. But what I live for and what I've been known for is putting together a meeting that is more than just the speakers. It's about a community. It's about helping orthodontists and their teams come together and have an incredible experience from start to finish, because from the time you arrive until the time you leave, I am there taking care of you. I obsess over the details. I obsess over the seating chart to make sure that it's perfect. I obsess over the menus to make sure that we're inclusive of dietary needs, allergies. I'm making sure that my menus include gluten-free options, kosher, halal. Everybody here is welcome, vegan, vegetarian. My menus are healthy. I try to look and think about what's not going to make me feel too heavy after lunch, because how many times do you go to lunch at a meeting and you just feel like going to sleep afterwards? So much of the effort that I put into this meeting is really for you. It's so that you have the best possible experience you can. And a part of that is keeping everybody together so that we can create this amazing community. You're going to have the chance to meet other doctors. Some of them are going to be in startup mode. Some of them are going to have 20, 30 years of experience. And the beautiful thing is what I hear from doctors that attend the summit every year is that they've met people who have given them essentially life-changing advice. It's not even just about what they're learning in the meeting itself. It's about what they're learning during the breaks, during breakfast, just sitting down, waiting for the session to start, turning to their neighbor and having an amazing conversation. And now let me just jump into a little bit of the agenda and a little bit more detail for you so you know what to expect. Cool. So this is Thursday. Our Orthopreneurs RD group will be coming in Wednesday, and we do a little bit of a dinner for them Wednesday night. They have their own exclusive CE Thursday morning. If you're interested in your RD group, you can check out orthopreneursrd.com. We'll have some special sessions for them in the morning. Check-in for general attendees is around noon on Thursday, September 18th. In the afternoon, Dental Monitoring is going to be hosting a really special pre-symposium lecture. Details are going to be released soon, but it's going to be a very special lecture. So for those that are going to be able to come in a little bit early, that's going to be an amazing 3 hours. And then it's going to be followed by our welcome reception in the exhibit area. We'll have a couple hours of open bar, a lot of great food. Check in, grab your badge, grab your swag. We got some sick swag for you this year. It's just a great way to kick off the meeting and see folks. Friday is where we kick it off. Workout with Tony Horton himself. First thing in the morning. So I know a lot of you are early to rise. You're dedicated to your workouts. You're dedicated to your health. So 5:30 a.m., you're going to get out there with Tony Horton. You're going to have a killer workout. And then you've got enough time to kind of go back to your room, relax, get changed. And then you're going to come back downstairs for breakfast and registration. We've got breakfast sandwiches, a lot of grab and go, yogurts and parfaits, some pastries, some granola, fresh fruit, coffee. There's going to be a lot of great food and a lot of options. I want to make sure that everybody, no matter what your dietary needs are, you're going to be taken care of. So we're going to kick off at 8 a.m. If you haven't seen the intros in previous years, I'm just telling you, you're going to want to be there. You're going to want to see it. This one we're going to go out on top. It's going to be epic. And then we go through our general session speakers. We've got a morning break to see the exhibitors. And then we take a nice long lunch break. We're going to head upstairs to Augustus Ballroom. We've got two beautiful floors. We've got Julius on the same floor as the pool deck. So you'll be able to actually walk out during the day, during your breaks if you want, get a little bit of sunshine. And then during the lunch break, we've got a separate beautiful ballroom. You'll go up, you'll have your buffet lunch, you'll sit at tables with people, have that nice relaxing lunch, and head back down to the breakout sessions. We'll spend about 2 hours in the breakout sessions, and then we'll take another break in the afternoon. And the nice thing about this break is you'll have an opportunity to meet with additional sponsors, digest everything that you learn in the breakout sessions. And then we're going into a keynote. So I know we're flipping this on its head. A lot of times you kick off the meetings with the keynotes, but you just heard all these speakers are themselves keynotes. So you're going to hear from these amazing speakers in the morning, and then we're going to end the day with Tony Horton. And he is going to have you riding on cloud 9. I mean, we're going to be finishing this up. You're going to have so much energy. We're then going to have a happy hour in the exhibit area, so you spend a little bit more time talking to those companies that are going to help you grow. And then we head to Tau Beach, and Tau Beach is going to be epic. It is that outdoor oasis pool party for those of you that want to wear bathing suits. You absolutely can, but it's going to be kind of loungewear, clubwear. We're going to have amazing speakers. We're going to have amazing entertainment and some surprises that I don't want to ruin right here. And that's a remarkable first day. And then we go on to our second day. We're going to give you a little chance to sleep in, maybe for those of you that stayed out at the club. We don't have a programmed morning workout on Saturday, but you're going to get in there. You're going to get your breakfast. You're going to take your seats, and we're going to have, again, an amazing morning. We've got some surprises for you. You're not going to want to miss it. Don't come late. Don't come in at 8:30. You're going to want to be there right when we start. We then have an amazing lineup on Saturday, and we take another snack break. We finish out strong, and we go to lunch. Again, a nice long lunch on Saturday to let you recharge, spend time with people, because that networking really is so important. And then we have 4 more breakouts that are really going to change your practice, change your life. And like Friday, We're going to go into a snack break in the afternoon, give you that chance to kind of absorb what you just learned. And then we're going to hit you with one final keynote. I'm telling you right now, Saturday, final keynote, Amanda Gore, you are going to ride the final summit on high. We are bringing people together. We are giving you the most unbelievable end to this meeting. And then we're going to finish out at Omnia, which is just this incredible atmosphere. You're going to see it. You're going to see the magic chandelier that people talk about. You're going to get to experience the club. That evening, you're going to have a chance to really relax and connect with your colleagues, with your friends, with your peers. And then if you want to stay and experience Vegas, stay late. You could be one of those people that exits at 3 or 4 a.m. and maybe security guards will have stories about you for years to come, and then plan to check out on Sunday. That was a wrap on the entire weekend, and it is going to be amazing. But one of my favorite things is the fact that this is Caesar's Palace. We took a look at a lot of Vegas venues, and Caesar's Palace is an experience. It is an iconic destination. It has world-class dining. It has an amazing shopping experience for those of you that want to get out there. Maybe you're bringing a spouse and you want her to get to experience the Forum shops. It's got a world-renowned spa. It's got state-of-the-art fitness center. It has incredible entertainment all around it. So if you want to make this an extended trip and you want to just take an extra day or two on the front end or the back end, and you want to experience everything else there is to offer, this is the place to do it. You're central on the Strip. You've got stunning pools at Caesars. You've got this amazing architecture. It just happens to be one of the best hotels on the Strip. And for those of you who like to gamble, an incredible casino to do that in. And then we've negotiated a great rate at Caesar's Palace for you. So it's $189 a night. And we have 3 different towers that are worth mentioning and talking about. So the first tower is the Palace Tower. And that's the one that's closest to the pool and closest to the meeting space. In fact, the elevator actually comes down to the meeting space. So it couldn't be any more convenient. It was recently renovated. They're beautiful rooms. And then there's Augustus. Augustus are actually nicer, more refined, and larger rooms. So for those of you that like a little bit of a larger room, want to spread out more, that's a great tower. It's a little bit further from the meeting space. It's a little bit further from the casino, and it tends to be a little bit quieter. So if you want that type of a room, that's a great choice as well. And then Julius is kind of in between the two of them. And it's also a nice tower, but I will tell you, Palace is going the fastest. It is the most convenient. People tend to want that. It was recently renovated. But Augustus is also going quickly because those are beautiful rooms. So there's only about 100 of the Palace Tower rooms left, about 200 of the Augustus Tower rooms left. And so I would encourage people to book quickly and to get your room as soon as possible, because the room blocks are going to fill up. They fill up every year. I am so excited about everything that we have planned for this meeting. I am putting my blood, sweat, and tears into making this the absolute best meeting you've ever attended. Every single year I'm trying to outdo myself, and that is part of the reason this is the last summit. There is no way that I can outdo myself after what you experienced this year. And don't just take it from me. I'd love you to hear from some of the attendees and what they have to say about the summit.
This is one of the most unique, most impactful meetings that you can go to as an orthodontist.
It has everything compared to other meetings.
It's just more exciting, it's more fun.
The entertainment, the content in the meeting, the speakers, the food.
There's a lot of very successful people who come to this to learn, to talk to one another, and to figure out how to make their practices and their lives better.
I totally think the Entrepreneurs Summit is worth the cost of admission. It definitely paid for itself over. I try and come every year.
It's my 4th one I've been to now.
I've brought the team to pretty much every summit, and we always go back a stronger team with a better relationship.
I learn a lot. It helps the practice, so it really kind of checks all the boxes.
You hope to get something out of it that is going to pay dividends for years to come.
Definitely return on your investment.
We take back a lot to our office.
You get information that you probably don't get easily at any other meeting.
if you bring back one pearl that gets you one more start, saying that one start pays for the whole conference.
Well, the good news for you, if you want to come to Summit, we got 3 options for you. We got your team pass, we got your doctor pass, and we got the VIP pass. Now, I'm not going to get all the details of each and every pass. You can see them on the website. It's really, really easy to understand. Just go to opsummit2025.com. Team pass, goes without saying what it is, right? And your spouse would fall under the team pass unless they're a doctor, and then you want to bring them as a doctor. But you get your team pass, you get your doctor pass. But let me just take a moment to explain to you what the VIP pass is. So what we get is every year we get questions. Hey, I want to see behind the scenes. I want to see the control room. I heard it's something like, out of the production of Hamilton, which, by the way, it's bigger than anything you'll see at any Broadway production behind the scenes. But, hey, I don't want to deal with setting up my travel arrangements. I just want somebody to pick me up at the airport and drive me to and from. The VIP Plus Pass, it's not for everybody. It may not be for you, but for many people who want that best opportunity to just be a VIP, to be taken care of, to see things that nobody else is going to see, to get behind the scenes looks and engagement with things, and a little bit more, I would call it experiential, right? Again, it may not be for you, but maybe it is. And if it is, definitely choose it because it's a bespoke, limited number of passes. There's not 100 of these or 1,000 of these. Okay, there's not that many. And I got to be honest, a lot of people have already seen the value in it and they've bought them. So there aren't that many left. If you're okay with not being a part of that VIP experience, that's totally cool. You'll have an amazing experience at the meeting. But if you want that if you're the kind of person who likes the behind the scenes tour at Orlando, when you go to Disney World or something, this is what you want to be a part of because I promise you, you'll have a great time. Now, no matter where you are in your practice life, finances play a role. I've already talked about the 100 pennies. Now, for me, I like to pay everything up front. So I have the opportunity to bring 10 team members with me. I'm just going to pay for it up front. But maybe you're not in a position to do that. But you're like, I really want my team at this meeting, or I really want to come to this meeting. For the first time ever, we've decided to just create a no-interest payment plan. There's no outside credit agency or anything like that. Just like with our patients, I know you're good for it, and I really want to see you at this meeting. So you just sign up for it, and you put 25% down and pay the rest out over installment plan. Easy peasy. And it's a way of you being there and being able to afford it when maybe you're not able to afford paying it all up front. Every single year, I talk about my own personal, I like to call it the free limousine guarantee. Every year I say this, every year. And you know how many times people have taken me up on it? 0. Maybe you'll be the first, but I doubt it. What does it mean? It means at the end of the first day, if this meeting is not the best meeting you've ever been to, you come up to me and say, Glenn, I'm done with this meeting. I don't want to come here anymore. I say, cool. I'm going to pay for your limo back to the airport. I'm going to pay for your flight home. I will refund your registration and I'll refund your hotel costs. It will cost you nothing. You will have gotten some free knowledge and you get to go home. And every year I make this promise and this guarantee, and every year it goes untaken. Why? Because I'm guaranteeing you it's going to be a great meeting. So please be at this meeting. Go to opsummit2025.com. The guarantee is there. You can take me up on it, but you won't because the meeting is going to be that good. So now we come to the question, why is this the last Orthopreneur Summit ever? And it's a personal choice, quite honestly, for me. And as people have learned about it, I've gotten lots of inquiries. The most common question I get from people is, but Glenn, you're making so much money from Summit. Money's not the issue here. It has nothing to do with money. The key here is, you may recall, I went into Orthopreneur Summit. I created it with Mike so that we could change the landscape of orthodontic meetings in general. I felt that there needed to be a meeting like GORP for grown-ups, so to speak, for people with paying jobs. You deserve to be taken care of as well as you take care of your patients. And that was my goal. And when we first started that in 2018, I don't think anybody else was even coming close to trying it. I didn't say reaching it. I said trying it. It was show up, go to a meeting, go home. Figure out your dinner plans. Maybe you got breakfast. Maybe you got a brown sack lunch if they were lucky enough to give you something. But when it was all said and done, I know that our meeting raised the bar for everybody. And right now in the space, I can look around and say, I've done what I've wanted to do. I've created a different environment because of Orthopreneur Summit across every meeting in orthodontics. Because, for instance, 2 years after I put white couches in Orthopreneur Summit, all of a sudden at another regional meeting, there in the front 2 rows were white couches. There's been so many things like surprises or nighttime entertainment that we can go on and on with all the things, but this isn't about me. This is about you. And the fact that I think the orthodontic meeting space has changed. I don't think anybody's touching what Orthopreneur Summit does, but if you know me, I love innovation. And if I feel I can innovate in other ways, I'm going to. And I felt that at this point, having accomplished what I wanted to accomplish, having brought people together, it was time to go out with Orthopreneur Summit on top. If you're a football fan, and I say the name Barry Sanders, not only one of the greatest running backs in the history of the game, but what he's known for is going out on top. He was at the top of his game, and I respect that so much because I don't want anybody to ever say, oh yeah, Orthopreneur Summit, it used to be really good, but now. I want people to always remember Orthopreneur Summit for what it was, groundbreaking and innovative and landscape changing. And now it's time for me to innovate in other ways. And so there will be something else. I promise you there will be something else. I've not committed to anything right now, but whatever it is, I will guarantee you that it will be innovative and it will change the landscape of orthodontics yet again, but it won't be Orthopreneur Summit. It won't be like Orthopreneur Summit, and hopefully Orthopreneur Summit will stand on its own for years to come. And the reason I'm doing this is the same reason I started Orthopreneur Summit. It's you. It's to make sure that now that I've done this for 7 or 8 years, right? If you count COVID, don't count COVID, right? Now I understand all the things that if I wanted to put into a meeting that I would, but can't in the current format of what Orthopreneur Summit is. And so there will be something else. I'll promise you that because I need to keep innovating. That's my social capital, is connecting people and innovating. What it is, you'll find out when I find out. But for right now, the reason we're ending Orthopreneur Summit is I wanted to be on top. I think we accomplished our goal. And I want to bring you something even better and bigger. What is it? Don't know, but it'll be there. I promise. So since this is the last one, it's in Vegas. It's clinical and admin and entrepreneurial. And it's got 8 tracks in the afternoon to go to that'll change your life. And it's in Vegas with some amazing social stuff. Why are you not there? This will be the meeting that people will talk about literally for decades to come. So please go to OP Summit 2025, sign up for the meeting now. You won't disappoint it. You know that you've got my own personal guarantee on this meeting. And if you've enjoyed Orthopreneur Summit along the way, you know, it's difficult for me to say goodbye to the meeting. Like I said, we'll do something else at some point. But if I'm going to say goodbye, I'm going to make sure it's one hell of a great event. And that's what this meeting is all about. So hope to see you there. Hope you sign up because I promise you, this is going to be unlike anything you've ever experienced in orthodontics.